Good evening and welcome to 27 Minutes here on WJTS 27. I'm Kurt Gutgsell. The members of the National Guard 151st Infantry were given a big send-off on Thursday morning as the unit prepares to go overseas. The parade started at the National Guard Armory and proceeded to the Dubois County Courthouse where a spirit flag was raised. The unit then proceeded to Camp Atterbury for training. The unit will leave after the first of the year to go overseas. Stay tuned. We'll have more 27 Minutes right after. Welcome back. 2008 will be the year to let the pride show for ROJAC. ROJAC President Dave Beeler and the rest of the committee held a press conference to talk about the next step for ROJAC.
I think it's so important we understand what we're all about. We're about this thing and the mill and all that, but there's a real purpose behind it, remember. It's not just, oh, it'd be great to have that. There's a purpose. We set out in February of 03, and our goals were for Jasper, Dubois County to become a major destination point for tourism. Develop a master plan to fully realize the opportunities of the river and Old Jasper, which will benefit all of Dubois County. Be the catalyst to bring the private and the public sector together to achieve the goal. And the last goal was to be a major economic development project for Jasper and Dubois County. And we keep talking about it all the time, but we can't say that enough because this is the goal. This is what we're doing. And our operations, we operate through the Chamber of Commerce. We're a 501c3 status organization. And our operation to seek federal and private grants, we've done that, and to seek broad-based community support through annual membership and dues. And that's our basic source of income. We have 350 members now. We have a membership of roughly $75,000, $80,000 a year. Some years have been higher, some years less. When things are going great, things are happening, more money flows in, more members. But what we're going to tell you is some really exciting things here today, and we think we're just so excited. And if you'll see on if you'll look in your agenda here, what are we calling this? We're saying this is the 2008, the year to let the pride show. I mean, things have been working and working, and a lot of things have happened, but it's really going to happen. It's really going to happen next year. And there's been delays, you know that, with the mill. A lot of the things that, we've never built a mill before, so we run into all kind of stuff that we had no idea, including the river problems, building in the river, which was a bad idea, so we're changing that. The idea of all the different permits and surveys and engineering things we had to have done to model the floodplain, so to speak. I mean, it's just all kinds of things that we spend a lot of money. We've spent a lot of money on this thing. And it's stuff that we do not get credit for that on the grant. Okay, there's a matching grant, as you know, and we have to have cash money at the time when we start building. So all that money was the money that we spent out of these memberships and everything, but here's the support that everybody's given us. That's how it's working. And we've had great success with our membership. But anyway, we just wanted to tell you a few things of that line. The delay, although, it was really disappointing to us. We're going to tell you all about today and what we're going to do. But it's for the better, because what we've come up with and where the mill's going to sit and how it's going to operate and everything is going to be far superior to what we had before. We were set up for all kind of maintenance problems that we didn't realize, all kind of issues. The way the mill sits now, and they'll explain it. I'm going to talk to you about the funding on building the mill. But the way it's going to sit and the way you're going to get around the wheel now with this plaza overlook is going to be phenomenal. So as you can see, we're going to talk today about the mill, the water wheel, the Jasper clock, the entry arch, the fountain, the train. We're going to talk about train service. We're going to talk about expansion of our sidewalk program. the pedestrian boulevard, and then we're going to talk about the fundraisers that help us attain our goals. Now, we are going to build the mill for no more than $1.5 million. Okay, our goal is to do it for 1.4. Okay, that's our goal. But that is what we're going to do. Now we have grant money, okay, which everybody knows. We have a total of, we have a $900,000 grant and we have a $260,000 grant that all come from NDOT, okay? And this is the transportation part of the state, and that's how we got this funding, okay? But now we have to have a 20% match on that. So we originally had the 20% match, which was $200,000 for the first $900,000, okay? Now the last part, we're going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of $65,000, $70,000 that we need to raise matching funds for the last part of the grant. So that's what a lot of these fundraisers we got here are to achieve this extra funding we need for our other part of our match, okay? So I just want to make sure everybody understands that part of it. And that's why we're having these events that are going to be exciting events, by the way. And now what I'd like for Ron to come up here. Ron Flick is the guy who designed this mill. And he's going to talk to you about that and everything. We've also recently got together with Universal Design. They've helped us engineer the plaza, the part where the wheel is going to actually sit. So Ron is the man who designed this thing. And Ron, so will you talk to them about the building, please?
Well, I'm going to give you a little quick rundown, a little review of the history of the mill, just so that you can understand what we're trying to achieve and the process, and why we made some changes, as Dave mentioned. Originally, just real quick, I can go on a long history about the mill, but I won't today. But you can call me up and I'll go into detail anytime you want to. The original mill was the animal mill, built in about 1813, 1817. It was an overshot wheel mill that sat actually upriver. It was a smaller mill. It was built by an Evans family, actually, with slave labor from Kentucky. Enlows came about 3 years later in 1820 and purchased the mill. And that mill was the one that Abraham Lincoln came and visited. That fell into disrepair in the 1850s, a few years after the Eckerts had acquired the mill in 1847. So there was a mill that sat about right here that was, like I said, had an overshot wheel. In 1865, Francis Eckert decided to build a new mill. And this is the mill that you see right here. That's the mill that you can see in photographs. He built, it wasn't a water wheel mill at that time, it was a steam-powered mill, and that's why the chimney that you see here. And initially, the mill was 3 stories, had a basement down here, sat right on the river. Of course, the foundation stones are still there. And the top floor was pulled in so that you have that classic look of that mill there. As the mill got more and more successful, it was taken over by his 3 sons, Andrew, Conrad, and I can't think of the other one. But they enlarged the mill, expanded the top floor, made it a full 4 stories here on the river, and added this addition here. They later added this 4-bay, went back to water power because the steam power is so expensive, but they went from instead of the classic water wheel, they went to a turbine wheel. It was a flat wheel that turned horizontally rather than vertically. So this was the classic look of the mill that you see in photographs throughout history. It was closed down in 1933, became a feed mill and a storage building until 1964, when the flood of 1964 took its foundations out and it had to be torn down. What we did when we decided to try to replicate this mill was to try to put the mill on its original site, to build it with this same look. And the problem, as Dave mentioned, was with that water wheel being out in the river, that presented a lot of trouble. It was going to be a maintenance nightmare with the debris that comes down that river, and everybody knows all the debris that comes down there and clogs up around the buttresses of the bridge. So our solution, and it was going to be costly building out in the river, obviously. So what we decided to do was basically scoop this whole thing back up off the bank. So we pulled the the water wheel, the sluiceway, the foundation, and the building back about 12 to 15 feet off the river. So that gives us this new look that we're all excited about. It's going to be less of a maintenance problem. It's going to give us now the opportunity to have people come and actually view the mill from the riverside, sit here. Since this beautiful photograph or rendering was done, we're going to actually cantilever the plaza out a few feet over the river. And so you get more opportunity to sit here and view the wheel, view the water delivery system, and have some photo opportunities there, obviously. So that's going to be, again, less maintenance problems. It's going to be easier to build, less expensive to build. Inside, we've got gears that are already purchased and being stored. It's going to be the classic millstone. There's going to be a hopper where you can dump the corn meal into. There's going to be another machine. It's called the edge runner that does the flour. That's going to be behind in some glass so that we don't have the gluten problem. These are all the items that we've had to deal with new regulations and requirements. But in the end, I think what we're going to have is a beautiful building that still simulates in many ways the original mill, but gives more opportunities than ever before. It's going to be more beautiful and less maintenance problems, and we're going to be very proud of it when it's built. So that's my little sheet.
Thank you, Ron. We have pictures over here. I'm sure you're looking at these, but you can see Universal did these for us. They're taking pictures and superimposed with all this miracles of the new systems. This is an actual view of how this building will present itself. I mean, here's the bridge, as you can see. I mean, this is a major structure. This is coming from Ferdinand, so to speak, and this is coming from Jasper, from downtown and heading out across the bridge. You can imagine how that mill is going to sit up and be highly visible. And right here is, Ron, I might just get into this a little bit, or you might tell them about that.
The way we're going to do, bring the water to deliver over the water wheel. Initially, obviously, the dam was built for delivering that water to an undershot wheel. But everybody likes that overshot wheel. So what we're going to do is create a sluiceway here. Now, instead of drawing water out of the river and dealing with all the requirements,
which causes a lot of problems,
dealing with the Division of Water Department of Natural Resources, we're creating inside this area here a cistern or a tank or a holding area that will hold the water, and we'll catch rainwater and supplement that with city water. But that will be collected in here, down here. That water will then be pumped back up into here through a pipe, and then run down the sluiceway and then turn the water wheel. That water will then dump back into this holding area and be regenerated, recirculated. And then obviously through evaporation we'll supplement that water as needed. But we think it's a nice way, an easier way to get that effect that we want with the water wheel.
Now, just one question on that top floor of the building. Will you be able to look out the windows and see that water flowing in?
Yeah. There's 2 stairways that are going to be going up to the top floor. Every building has 2 stairways now. But you will be able to look out these windows past this roof and see that.
Thank you.
So you can see we've accomplished another big hurdle, which was dealing with the DNR and all that on the river and all that type of thing. So there's another. I mean, this simply is, in all simple layman language, this is like a big fountain. It's got to float down here. When the water gets low, we put more city water. This is city water. It's going to be city water. We're not taking it out of the river. If it overflows, it'll go back in the river, but that won't hurt anything. So that's how that's going to work. Now, this is going to be a fully operational mill that is going to make flour and sell it, and we intend that to be a real benefit, not just something pretty, it's something to look at, but it's actually a functioning mill. Now we're going to start construction in May. That's the thing. It'll probably take a full year to build. So that's the pitch on that. Then on item number 2, Item number 2 is the water wheel overlook plaza, which we talked about. Item number 3 is the Jasper clock. Now these items right here, and I'll explain them in a minute, these are items that we are going to contact. That's the number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. We're going to contact organizations, individuals, businesses, corporations, what have you, to sponsor these features of our whole Old Jasper. And there will be name recognition for the things that are accomplished. So we're going to, the water wheel, the wheel and the plaza, this cantilever, if you look at this thing over here, this kind of shows you how it's going to look from the satellite or whatever. I wasn't up there taking that picture, I'll tell you that. Anyway, here's the mill, and you can see they're going to put a deck out here closer towards the water, okay? And that's the cantilever platform that is going to give us this effect that Ron's talking about, the photo ops and what have you there. It's going to really be an area you can get out there and see how this wheel really works. And that'll be really a nice feature. So Mayor, you want to explain that over here?
Yeah, I have a question for Ron in regards to that embankment and foundation where the mill is by the plaza.
Yeah.
Is that cement block?
No.
What is that?
This is going to be concrete, cast concrete that simulates stone. And it's very convincing.
If you've been up to French Lick or West Baden, that new spa thing they built there, if anybody's looked at that, if you look at the foundation of that building, that is all stamped concrete. And it looks like that. It's great.
Initially, we did try to use the stone that we had and purchase more stone, but that was costly, and we were going to have trouble finding somebody to cut it, shape it. So we went to this thing.
Yeah. So that's a bunch of. So that's one of these things. The clock. Now I have a picture of a clock here. That this is a major clock. It's similar to what we have out at the high school, but it's larger. You see these in major metropolitan downtowns or at big malls or whatever. It's going to say Jasper. It's a Jasper clock, and it's going to be right out there. But the clock will probably be named somebody's name clock. Okay, that's what that's going to be. Then on the entrance arch, we have the entrance arch will be right over here, catty corner from the Yamaha. Okay. At that intersection of Mill Street. It'll go across. What we envision there is a pedestal on each side, probably, that it sets on. It would probably be stone look that matches the mill and all that type of thing. And then the structure is usually some type of a fabricated metal structure that goes over the road. We have pictures, so to speak, of what one looks like in Evansville. You can see an arch down there. In the middle of the sign it would say Old Jasper. This is one from Washington, Missouri. It's a little bit different idea. But we're going to have a major entrance arch right over here at the entrance right here. That's going to happen next year also. Okay? Then the fountain is it's a really a larger project. It is it's going to sit right out here also. The size of this fountain is not, firm, but it is somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 foot across, and it'll have at least an 8-foot structure in the middle that the water would come from. So that is a major project we're also going to be working on next year. So those are some very significant things that have always been a part of this plan. This is our ROJAC plan here that we put together in 2003. And this showed all the things and what we were going to try to accomplish through 2008. Some things have been on schedule, some things haven't, but it's all evolving, and it's only been 4 years, so we're excited about all that. But the fountain was on here, the entrance arch is there, the clock, the mill, this, and all our walkways, which we're going to talk more about here. Then, number 6 item, and the thing that has just absolutely amazed us as we've been working through this, these last 4 years is the interest in the train. We always had a train on there, but we had no idea at that point in time how well received that would be by the general public and how they really want a train. So it's working out real well. And you can see we're going to have some information here from Ken Schmidt. If you'll come up here, Ken, he'll talk to you about how some of our train cars are progressing.
I think I'll speak from over here. I want to welcome everybody and thank you for coming. And as Dave said, the train probably we've gotten, you know, so much interest, and people want to know when are you running, how much is it going to cost, when can I go to French Lick. A lot of those details were let Richard Pearson talk about. What I'm going to talk about is we've got, when we started out in 2003, I remember sitting down with Dave and we talked about these trains and said, well, we ought to put together some kind of budget. We threw some numbers together and we figured $600,000 per train. Where we really get the money, we didn't know. But as it worked out, through Mayor Schmidt, the city, and Crane, and through Eleanor and Ed, Richard Pierce, a whole bunch of people, we were able to latch on to train from Crane, which was considered excess equipment. So we've got an excellent engine, just #1 top condition, and of course the name of the train, Spirit of Jasper. So we're in great shape there. Don't have to do anything to it other than maintain the engine. Now the cars that we will have, we're going to have 3 cars basically. Our first car, which we're working on, is backed by the train track, backed by the old veneer mill. And if you ever have a chance, you want to stop by and look at that, just feel free to do so. And this one we're going to call the Tavern and Lounge car. The reason being, we will have a bar on that. So it's going to be a lot of fun for people going back and forth to French Lick and overnight or whatever. And that one we hope to have done by about April 1st to April 15th, somewhere in that neighborhood. It'll be air conditioned, heated. As a matter of fact, those things are working in there now. Just to give you an idea, this will be the, I guess you call it wainscoting or whatever on the bottom. And you can stop up here later and look at it. And this is kind of a rendition of the materials that we'll be using in there. It's going to be carpeted. And the configuration, actually we show a bar in the middle here. We've changed that now. The bar area will be here, and the restrooms will be on the other end, one for men and women. And so, you know, it's really going to be a comfortable car. It's going to be really something that I think we made with groups from Evansville. I think I've talked with Kristen Drew before, and we had an interest there. People really already wanting to lease it for groups and go to French Lick. So it's really going to be something when we get that done. And I was just looking at this piece here. This will be the ceiling. It looks like metal, but it's actually ceramic. So you're not going to have any rattling, but it's really going to be just a super car. So that'll be the lounge tavern car. Then the car out here on the side, that's going to be a lounge car also. That one we got with the help, actually, of Crimp Lumber Company. So if anyone sees them, we need to thank them for their help in securing that. They were doing a project up there at Crane. Crane wanted the car moved. That was part of their bid, and they graciously got it here for us. I don't know, Dave, do we have to pay anything to even get it here?
Not much.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing is pretty amazing how.
Yeah, and that one is in pretty good shape. And then the other car, of course, would just be considered a coach car. So our intent would be that we would have the engine and 3 cars that would carry approximately 40 people apiece. And we would, you know, make our trips up to French Lick, and they're excited about this as well because they want us bringing people up to obviously go to the casino and make revenue for them also. So I think that's really.
Again, you might,
Yeah.
ROJAC has actually invested $50,000 in this
Yes.
first car. You
Yeah.
might mention a little more on that.
Yeah, this, when we, of course, started out with the car, we just had the basic car, and then there was a Boy Scout project. Nancy helped me, is Will Dyson, that actually did a Eagle Scout project and coordinated the paint of the car. So it helped him and it helped us, so they did pay for the paint and whatnot there. But we think that this, all told, our budget for it is about $50,000. But we've had some really good local contractors here that, and I don't want to bring them up because I'd probably miss somebody, but what the contractors have done basically is a more or less charged only for materials and very little for their labor. We found that everybody's willing to jump in on this because everybody wants this spring run. And if anybody here wants to help out on that too, just contact a ROJAC member if there's anything you want to help or donate to the finishing of it. The chairs also, if you see that there's a particular chair picked out there, we're working with Jasper Seating on that. And other than that, it's just really going to be something that I think everybody here's going to be proud of.
These guys have done a really good job of getting this all put together with Ken in charge of and Randy.
Right, City of Jasper's,
City of Jasper.
gotta thank the
This is
mayor.
a perfect example of what our intent was, the private and the civic sector getting together and all
Right,
that different things.
right.
It's amazing. Now, the second car, we have a budget this year of $40,000 to get it,
Right.
this car on here, to get it complete by September.
Yes.
And there's
Yeah.
a reason for these dates, okay, which
Yeah.
we're all hear about here.
Right.
One other thing we want to, the third car you're talking about is one that's sitting down towards the Plant Foods down there. Okay?
Right.
And that's the one, we don't have a date on that.
Right.
But it's just a regular coach car, it's got seats in it, okay?
We can use, in fact, Nancy, did they use that over about this? So it's usable.
Oh, yeah.
It has seats and everything in it, but, obviously we'll need some
Yeah,
work.
it's
Because
gonna
we
be
want to
work.
do this thing first class, and that's what it's going to be.
And then the other thing is that these cars will sit right out here on the side. And part of the grand plan here is there's going to be an expanded siding here. Right now, and it doesn't go across Jackson Street. So the grand plan, by the time we have some of these dates later on this year, this switch will move up towards the highway, and the track will go across Jackson, and there will be another switch out that way, so it'll enter the main rail between Jackson and Main, okay? And we'll be able to set at least 3 cars and the engine on this side between Jackson, and that's all going to happen by these infamous dates we have here.
Later on here on 27 Minutes, we will look at fundraising projects for ROJAC. This will wrap up this edition of 27 Minutes here on WJTS 27. For the entire crew, I'm Kurt Gutgsell. Have a great night.